Hey, Jay Lauren Norris here with StoryPower Academy, and I want to let you know about a special event coming up. Now, this event is for Q1. It's going to be at the Moody Gardens in Houston, Texas. This is an executive level gathering. There's only 8 seats. The cost does include your room and meals, but this is going to be an intense training. This is taking StoryPower to the executive leadership level, and here's what I mean by that. There are a whole lot of people who think that StoryPower is just an elevator pitch, or StoryPower is just for people who are into public speaking, or StoryPower is just about writing your next book. And while it's true that StoryPower is very effective for all of those, I want you to also understand that StoryPower is the basis behind Attitude Hack. Well, what is Attitude Hack? Well, Attitude Hack is a leadership development tool. Maybe you've been in that work environment where you know the leader who has these phrases that they say all the time, and when they do, the people on their team just kind of roll their eyes, their customers kind of look quizzical, or maybe certain customers just walk away. And they don't even realize, as leaders, that it's the phrases they use, the comments they make, the way they see the world that's costing them business. StoryPower from the mirror to the media is about helping leaders tell better stories better. Sometimes the story that's messing you up is the one you're telling in the mirror. Sometimes the story that's messing up your business is the one that is branding your business, because your brand is what people say when you walk out of the room. It's branding your business because of your attitude. So at the Sweet Retreat, we're going to talk about how all of these things play together. Whether you're sitting in front of a camera, standing on the stage, making your pitch at a network meeting, or making your pitch in a proposal bid in front of the executive team who has to make the decision, or the board of directors. The stories that you choose to tell, the words that you speak, the attitude they carry forward, that's what's going to make or break your business. And that's what this particular retreat is about. If you're a speaker, if you're a trainer, if you're a coach, if you're a business executive in HVAC, if you run a company of 5,000, this is a place for you to be. It's a safe zone. Only 8 people in the room. You can bare your soul and tell your story, and we'll help you walk through a mastermind style format to really get those stories down to what they need to be and what's going to be beneficial to your business. Now, if that sounds like a sweet retreat for you, if that sounds like the kind of place you want to be and the kind of things you want to learn, then I'd love you to go to StoryPowerAcademy.com. Right up there in the upper margin, you'll find Sweet Retreat 2026. I want you to click on that and get registered today. There are only 8 seats. There will not be 9, not 10, not 12, not 15. So if you and your spouse are the executives, or you and your number one want to come to this retreat, you need to plan to come together. You need to buy 2 seats, and you need to reserve both of them. Because if you just show up and we've already sold all the other seats, only one of you is going to be able to come. It's a 2-day event, Houston, Moody Gardens. Click on the link and get yourself registered. Do it today. Hey, Jay Lauren Norris here with StoryPower Academy. If you have not heard about the Sweet Retreat, I want you to think about it like this. This is not about your elevator pitch. This is not about the chapters of your book. This is not about what do you say when you're speaking from the stage. It does cover all of that. But number one, we're going to focus on how the attitude of your executive leadership team impacts the brand and the growth of your business. If that's of interest to you, I'd love you to join us at the Sweet Retreat. Go to StoryPowerAcademy.com and click on the link at the top. Get yourself registered. There's only 8 seats. If you want to bring your whole team, maybe we need to schedule something at your office. But if there's 1 or 2 of you that really need to know more about leadership development through attitude based on the stories you tell, this is the place for you. I hope to see you soon. StoryPower Sweet Retreat. It's on the top of the webpage at StoryPowerAcademy.com. Hey, just a reminder of the StoryPower Sweet Retreat coming up. It's going to be at the Moody Gardens. It's off season. Your room is included. Your meals are included. And executive leadership training on how the story you tell impacts your bottom line. That's going to be a huge part of it as well. If you're struggling with attitude, with branding, with culture, this is the place for you. I'm Jay Lauren Norris with StoryPower Academy. StoryPowerAcademy.com. Click on the link at the top. You know, your story is so much more than your elevator pitch. Your story, while it's great to include in the chapters of your book or when you're speaking from the platform to put together your entire signature talk and have vignettes and stories about who you are and your credibility, all of those things are very important. And I train clients on that, a lot of them one-on-one. I also train executive leaders in that capacity of your understanding that, wherever you go, there you are. The words coming out of your mouth, the ones mulling around in your head, the ones that kind of resonate deep inside you, maybe they don't resonate with all your clients. Maybe they don't resonate with your team. And if those stories continue to rule your life, if you're not careful, they could ruin your life. The Executive Suite Retreat, StoryPower Suite Retreat at Moody Gardens, that's a perfect place for you to get started on this new level of leadership development. Go to StoryPowerAcademy.com, click on the Suite Retreat link at the top, and get yourself registered now. That was 101 as well. That's not good. I got to shave 3 seconds. I also need to do some of these portrait style. Let me see. I think I can do that. Like this. Dum da dum. Dum da dum. Can do it like that. Yeah, baby. Hey, J. Lauren Norris here for StoryPower Academy and StoryPowerAcademy.com. I want to tell you about an executive getaway that's coming up. It's going to be at the Moody Gardens. This is going to be just for 8 people, and it's going to be for 2 days of intense training on attitude, executive leadership, culture, and branding through the stories that you tell. Now, StoryPower is more than elevator pitches and book chapters and speeches from the platform. It's everything that comes out of your mouth, everything that resonates in your head. From the very first phone call to the last customer review, StoryPower is huge. And if you learn to tell better stories better, you'll be better at crafting those stories for your advertising, for your marketing, for your team leadership, for your team development, for your hiring, for your firing. It's all included in the stories that you tell. It'll attract the right people and repel the wrong people, clients and team members, executives and investors. If that's something that you'd like to know more about, I'd love for you to be at the StoryPower Suite Retreat. Go to StoryPowerAcademy.com, click on the link at the top, and get registered now. There's only 8 seats. I'd love you to be in one of them. Hey, J. Lauren Norris here with StoryPower Academy, and I just want you to know, we've got a retreat coming up, first quarter of 2026. Now, this is not your typical, I want to learn my elevator pitch retreat. This is not just about platform speakers. This is not just about people who want to grow their business as a speaker or a coach. While it's good for all of that, we're also going to be addressing those things that executive leaders deal with. We forget sometimes as executive leaders that one of our challenges has to do with the words that come out of our mouth. The things that roll around in our head and sometimes deep in our gut and our being, we feel like I want to say and I got to say and this is how I feel. I don't care what you think about it. And that's just not good for your business. That's not good for your clients. That's not good for your team. It's not good for your own personal development. But sometimes we forget that it's the tiny little phrases that make the difference. And that's what this retreat is about. There's only going to be 8 people. So this is going to be really intense. It's 2 days, Moody Gardens. Your room is included, meals are included. You'll be all good. But you need to come and bring your big girl pants or your big boy pants, bring your thinking cap, and be ready to hear some things that might challenge you in the way of leadership. Now, we're intentionally taking this to Houston so you get away from all the stuff of everyday business if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But I want you to get down there and get serious about the words that you use, the phrases you say. Attitude drives culture. Attitude drives brand. And attitude starts with the words that you say. I'll teach you how that works, and I'll teach you how to engineer that. And if you want to go deeper, then we've got some courses where we can bring this in as a corporate training for your entire organization. We can do on-site stuff. We can do group training stuff. We've got online courses that you can just tell your people, hey, you need to take this course. but you really need to get involved as an executive leader and understand the principles before you try to take them back to your team. And I don't care if your team is 5 people or 5,000 people. If you're an executive leader, the words that come out of your mouth, the thoughts that roll around in your head, they drive your attitude, they drive your culture, and they drive your brand. Those all drive your bottom line. So if this is something you'd like to deal with, join us at the Suite Retreat, Moody Gardens, Q1 of 2026. You can go to StoryPowerAcademy.com and click on the link that says Suite Retreat 2026 and get yourself registered today. Hey, J. Lauren Norris with StoryPower Academy. I want to remind you, all of the years that I've been studying leadership and teaching leadership, from the communication level all the way up, mindset, team building, executive function, all of these are things that I've been studying for over 30 years, and I would love to bring those things to you. Now, StoryPower Academy offers those tools as online development tools that you can pass on to the people on your team and let them have access to it, or you can book me to come out and do training or one-on-one coaching and consulting right in your workplace. StoryPowerAcademy.com. Get signed up today. Hey, J. Lauren Norris here from StoryPower Academy, and I just want to remind you, yeah, we help people with public speaking. We help people with their elevator pitch. But did you know that as a certified John Maxwell coach, I also help people with leadership development, building your team, and exercises that we can do on site for you, or you can go online and get the courses done there. We can even do the training virtually. I would love to help you with any of those things: public speaking, leadership, communication, executives, anything that will help grow you and grow your business. StoryPower Academy is on your side. I'm J. Lauren Norris with StoryPowerAcademy.com. Check us out today. J. Lauren Norris here with StoryPower Academy. I want to remind you, we have a 6 weeks supercharged course that will allow you to go through the StoryPower Masterclass with absolute handholding. And by that I mean, you'll have a lesson, you'll have some homework, you'll have an assignment, and then you'll have a call every week for 6 weeks. And on this call, we'll do Q&A, we'll do feedback, we'll do some mastermind, we'll answer your questions directly so that you can learn the process of story selection, story crafting, connecting better with your audience, driving the narrative that builds your business, builds your brand, builds your opportunity. And all of this will happen over a 6 weeks time. You won't have to be doing it all on your own, but you'll have access to all the tools that you could, and you'll have 1 year access to all of the courses where this content will be taught for a full year. You have access to go back and look at it at any time. I'd love for you to check out the 6 weeks boost course for StoryPower Academy. This is going to be the best 6 weeks you'll invest in from an education and business development, hands down. I want you to check it out, StoryPowerAcademy.com. Hey, J. Lauren Norris here with StoryPower Academy. I want to let you know about a new course that we're working on. This will be available after the first of the year, and we're going to dive right into it. This is the 6 weeks Done With You StoryPower Masterclass. Now, here's what I mean by done with you. We've had the StoryPower online. We've had the StoryPower Masterclass as a single day, 6 hours. We've had the StoryPower Retreat where people come and they learn the psychology of story and how to select a story and how to build a story and how to craft a story and how to present a story, and we put people on stage and all that stuff over 3 days. It's pretty intense, but that's also a huge commitment and a huge expense. So here's what we're going to do. This is a done with you. Not done for you, and not do it yourself. A done with you course for 6 weeks. And this course is going to take you through selecting the best stories to tell, whether it's from the platform, it's in a podcast interview, it's in an executive board meeting, or it's face-to-face with a client. Selecting the very best stories to tell. We're going to give you some great examples of those, some good ones and some bad ones. We're also going to teach you how to qualify that story. How do you know it's a good story? How do you know what audience it belongs in front of? And then how do you craft that story? That's in week 2. So we're going to find the stories, we're going to qualify the stories, then we're going to craft the stories. Now this is where we begin to break down week by week, word by word. What are the specific things you want to add to that story and then leave out? This is where we begin to work on what we call connecting words, where we really dig into the meaning of the word, how people are going to understand that. Will that draw a certain clientele? And repel another kind of clientele. And if that's the case, that's exactly what we're working on, is building a story that builds your business and alleviates those people that you don't really want to have to do business with. Now, in week 3, we're going to really dig into your story, and you're going to begin to tell them back so that the entire group gets to hear them in a round robin style, and we're going to work to improve the quality of your story through the entire thing. Week 4, we're going to dig into connections. How do we make this story connect with that audience? Who do you help and how? Well, that ought to be buried in your story, and it should have a deep impact on the people that you're sharing your story with. Finally, we're going to craft those stories into the narrative, the marketing plan, the sales plan, the lingo in your office place. How do you deal with your clients from the first call to the last call? All of this is going to be touched on in this 6 weeks Done With You course. And when you're finished, you're going to have some stories that you can use for marketing, for messaging in your brand, for messaging with your clients, your customer service calls, and things you can encourage your clients to say in your customer reviews that are going to make the people you want to do business with flock to you. Now, all of these things are going to impact your bottom line. This is a 6-week investment of your time. This is 6 weeks where you'll have a lesson, some homework, and then a follow-up call in the same week on the same lesson so that you can get your questions answered if you're not getting it, or if you just want to take it a little bit deeper. And everybody on the call will be focused on the same thing at the same time, so you have a whole lot of feedback in that call as well. Now, if this is something you'd like to be involved in, I want you to jump online to StoryPowerAcademy.com, and I want you to find the page that says 6 weeks StoryPower Done With You. Click on that particular link, Done With You. Get registered now. We have plenty of room. This is going to be 100% virtual, so everybody can participate in this, and it's going to be very affordable. You'll be shocked when you see the price, but I want you to get involved in it, and I want you to get signed up now because we're going to start the class the 2nd week of January. I'm J. Lauren Norris for StoryPower Academy at StoryPowerAcademy.com. Hey, J. Lauren Norris with StoryPower Academy. I just want to tell you about a couple of feedback loops that we got from our clients recently. One of them has been a client for about a dozen years. And I remember the very first time we met, she started telling me her story. She told me about the origin story, if you will, about where she came from and what her family was like and how she got involved in what she's doing right now. And in all honesty, it took about 9 hours for us to go through that entire story arc. She hired me as a speech coach and said, I really need to figure out what is the most important thing to say and how do I get that to a keynote style presentation that I can deliver in 45 minutes or less. Well, after a few months of working together, about 3 months, we had her story from 9 hours down to 27 minutes. And in that 27 minutes, she delivered it for a fundraising banquet. And they went from $31,000 in the last banquet to $130,000 in this banquet. Recently, the same client has now mastered that 2-minute speech, that 2-minute story, and the most recent fundraising banquet, same client, over $300,000. Now, I can't take full credit for that. A lot of things have changed in the business, but I can promise you, if you want to impact the bottom line, whether it's your business, your ministry, or your one-on-one relationships, you can change a lot when you can find the brevity in your story. 2 minutes or less, you can keep almost anyone's attention for that long. I'm J. Lauren Norris with StoryPower Academy at StoryPowerAcademy.com. I would love for you to join us. I recently got a testimony from a client. The first time we worked together, she told me, my most recent fundraising event, we raised $30,000. But I think I talk too much and I need to narrow it down. We whittled her speech down to 27 minutes, and in that fundraiser, $130,000. Most recently, the same client, we've been working together about 12 years. She's gotten pretty close to mastering that 2-minute story that I talk about all the time, and the most recent fundraiser, $300,000. I would love to take all the credit. I can't. A lot of other things have changed. But I can tell you this, if you want to impact your bottom line, be brief, be bright, be gone was great advice, and I can help you do that. J. Lauren Norris with StoryPowerAcademy.com. Did you know that we live in an information society? No, not information anymore. It's not even about data. Why? Because AI has got that nailed. AI can pull up any information that you want. No, now we live in what's called an attention economy. Attention. Made you look. That's really all people want anymore. But if you want to have a great impact, you need to know this. Boring stories lose attention. Boring stories lose business. Clients at StoryPower Academy, from the mirror to the media, you're going to learn to tell better stories better. I was recently talking with one of my clients, and her comment was, listen, I'm a shy person. I just don't have words to say, or I'm afraid I'll get to the platform and forget what I want to talk about. You know what I find to be true is it's really hard to forget the story you lived through. If you've experienced this, the world needs to hear it. At StoryPower Academy, we help people to tell better stories better, and a lot of that is just selecting the right story to tell. You should check out the 6 Weeks Done With You course and select the right stories. Look, I've been through a lot in my life, she said. The ups and the downs, the highs and the lows, the good and the bad, and I don't know what I'm supposed to be saying to people. StoryPower Academy, we're here to help you select, qualify, and craft the best stories for the deepest impact. You should join us at StoryPowerAcademy.com. Look for that little button that says 6 Weeks Done With You, and it's going to change your life. A client told me recently, I get nervous when I get in front of a crowd. I can't think of the words that I want to say, and it causes me to stumble, to stutter, and completely mess up what I really wanted to say. Listen, StoryPower Academy will empower you with confidence that you wouldn't believe you already have. I mean, nobody knows your story better than you do, but we will help you select, qualify, and craft the perfect story for the perfect audience. Join us at StoryPowerAcademy.com and click on that link that says 6 Weeks Done With You. Walk through this course and we'll help you tell better stories better. I recently had a client who said, I have to speak in front of the Supreme Court on the topic of abortion. Wow, that's a big ask. And I only have 3 minutes. Can you help me write the speech for that? Well, we did. And now she's also spoken in front of the United Nations on the topic of abortion with a completely different 3-minute speech. Same client has now been booked for the highest paid keynote of her life coming up next spring. Why? Because she's taken the time to craft the stories and not just stand on the stage and ramble on. If you feel like what you have to say is important, what you have to say needs to be powerful. It needs to be brief, it needs to be impactful, and it needs to be authentic. That's what you'll learn at StoryPower Academy. Jump in on that 6 Weeks Done With You course, and you will learn to select, craft, and qualify some of the best stories that you've lived through. StoryPowerAcademy.com. He said, look, we have hung the posters, we've incentivized behavior, we've done everything we can in our workplace, and we cannot seem to change the culture. The attitude in this place is just horrible. Can you help us with that? And I said, absolutely we can. See, we have this little tool called the Attitude Hack that helps you understand that the phrases you use start deep inside and then they tend to come out of your mouth. And whether you're the executive leader or the salesperson on the street, you will build your business and build your brand, or you will ruin your business and ruin your brand by the words that come out of your mouth. It's a proven fact. People forget what you did. They might even forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And the words that come out of your mouth do that most often. At StoryPower Academy, we're here to help leaders and executives from the mirror to the media tell better stories better. StoryPowerAcademy.com. Click on the Attitude Hack. You'll learn what I'm talking about. Grant Cardone says, best known beats best every time. Now, I don't know if he was the original quoter of that quote, but in an attention economy, he makes a really good point. You can have a phenomenal product or service, and if you can't articulate that briefly, powerfully, and impactfully in front of a crowd, nobody's going to know about your business. Now, whether you do that on social media, you do that at a network meeting, you do that on radio or television ads, you still have to master the ability to briefly tell people what you do and why. StoryPower Academy can help you do that. We help executives from the mirror to the media tell better stories better. StoryPowerAcademy.com. Hey, J. Lauren Norris here with StoryPower Academy. I just want to let you know, we haven't offered this very long, but I've been doing training from the Parliament of the Congo to sales training and marketing training when I was at a Fortune 50 company. And I just want you to know that something that we really excel at from StoryPower Academy is helping people in corporate training environments, whether it's 5 people or 50 people or 500 people. I've trained people at GTE, I've trained people at GE, I've trained people in the Congo and at the University of Kinshasa. I've got plenty of experience standing in front of a crowd and delivering an idea, but not everybody thinks that would be a good thing for my business. I'm just telling you right now, whether you got 5 people or 500 people, leadership development from someone outside your organization will always have an impact on your business. If you would like to know more about what we do as a John Maxwell coach, part of the John Maxwell leadership team, I also coach the Dale Carnegie program. I've been writing my own content for almost 20 years, and I got a lot to deliver to your team. If there's something that you've got to get worked out as an individual leader or as a team leader, let me know. I'd love to help you with that. StoryPowerAcademy.com. You can click on the corporate training link right there and get something booked right now. We can do half day, all day, single hour, virtual, in person, however you want to do it. Just get engaged. If you want to grow your business and grow yourself, leadership development from an outside source is a great way to do that. I'm J. Loren Norris with StoryPowerAcademy.com. I started studying John Maxwell almost 30 years ago. When I realized that my leadership capacity, that was the lid on my growth, I really began to invest in that. Now, I can tell you along the way, whether I'm leading small teams or large teams, building teams or working one-on-one with executives, the hardest thing for any of us as a leader is to realize that we have flaws, we make mistakes, and we need an outside voice sometimes to speak into our team and into us to make that change. Now, if you've got a team of 5 or 500, I would love to sit down with you and talk about a leadership growth plan that would help grow your business, grow your brand, and grow your team. You can find us on StoryPowerAcademy.com. Just click on that link that says corporate training and let's get something scheduled to chat. In the world of leadership development, something I learned a long time ago is sometimes the best voice isn't the leader's voice. It's actually somebody outside the team who can objectively look at everything that's being said and done and evaluate it and then give you some honest, critical feedback. And maybe even invest in your team, something that you've said 1,000 times and they just didn't get it. But now this outside voice says it and you're like, wow, that was so good. Yeah, if you're a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You have repeated phrases over and over to your kids and they look at you like you have 3 heads. And then all of a sudden the neighbor says it and they're like, that's the smartest thing I've ever heard. Yeah, it works in leadership. It works in your business building and business branding and your team building. And if you'd like some help with that, I've been studying John Maxwell for 30 years, spent my time in the military, studied Dale Carnegie and coached it for 5 years as well. I would love to invest those things in your team. I'm J. Loren Norris with StoryPowerAcademy.com. You can click on that button for corporate training. Let's get something started. I got a message from a new client the other day. She sent me a message that says, quote, I've listened to the first 5 lessons in the attitude hack. Now my garage is organized, my house is clean, and I'm taking inventory of my life all before 10 a.m. It is effective material, to say the least. You know, it was a long time ago that I realized that my attitude was driven by how I think and how I feel, and that almost always comes out of my feelers and through my mouth and into the universe. And so I help leaders figure out what it is that they're saying, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, that's either building their business and building their team, or it's breaking them down. If that's something that you and your team could use, there's a nice little course online called Attitude Hack on StoryPowerAcademy.com. And if you need the corporate training, there's a button for that too. I'm J. Loren Norris with StoryPowerAcademy.com. I hope to see you very soon.